Want to give you guys an update. It's about 9:30 in the morning. The roads are still closed. You can see up there, State Trooper got the eastbound highway entrance ramp still closed. No action that way, but I-40 West going that way is still open. So I checked with them. I talked to the State Trooper up there because I was getting a game plan together, and they let me know which ways were open. What's up, guys? Here tonight, back again with another video. Not in so high spirits today. We're super enthusiastic at the beginning of this video. Just had a hurricane run through here. Last night was the worst of it. So on my way home this morning, morning after the storm. The highway is shut down. I'm on I-40 East right now, trying to get back to North Carolina, coming out of Tennessee with a load of drywall that I've got. I don't know how well you can see it in the camera there, just a little bit. Squared off load. Probably the best way that you can get drywall, nice and easy to secure. But that's besides the point. Been sitting here since 11:30 a.m. It's about 3 p.m. right now, and they're saying that the highway is going to be shut down for days. Days, not hours, days. Somebody came through here and said that they talked to I don't know, I guess a state trooper or something along the lines, and they said that the highway is going to be shut down for at least 48 hours. And then I had another person come around and said it was going to be 4 days. And needless to say, I don't like the sound of any of that. All I can do is sit and wait, because the way that I'm trying to go, there is absolutely no way forward for me as far as highway or state routes or back country roads, because I'm in the mountains, as you can see. You know, the spot on I-40 East and West when you're trying to go between North Carolina and Tennessee, it's all mountain range here. So there's only certain areas that are going to be good for trucks to go, and only certain areas that you're going to want to try to go through, because you definitely don't want to get stuck. And with it being the issue, well, I don't think I even said the issue that happened with the hurricanes, like the water came through and a whole bunch of flooding took place, and the flooding on all of this soft earth up here in the mountains caused mudslides on the highway. I mean, there were dozens, I'm not exaggerating, guys, dozens of fallen trees on I-40 East on my way over here, and people having to serpentine through the trees falling on the passenger side of the highway and on the driver's side, as far as like well, depending on what section we were driving through there. But so many fallen trees, guys, so many fallen trees. And then there was water. I mean, it's flooding, water going across the highway. I mean, I was concerned some cars were going to go off the edge, you know, especially when we got near some of those rivers that were over there. But made it through here, and the DOT stopped everybody right here where I'm at. I don't know what exit I'm at right now. I don't recall. And I'm not going to go walk backwards to see what exit number I'm on right now. By the time you guys see this video, hopefully all this will be cleaned up and you won't have to worry about it anymore. But yeah, I mean, I was talking to a bunch of different drivers that are all stuck here with me, as you guys can see. I mean, there's a line of people right there. We all had to stop here. They detoured everybody off the highway to this exit ramp, but they have, if you can see up there, the traffic cone, so you can't go further on I-40 East going this way. The highway's closed. I-40 West over there, going backwards the way I came, is open. But even back there, I mean, there was, I know they could close the highway back down further west that way because of the flooding and the fallen trees. I mean, the trees were worse over there. I mean, completely covering the highway. I mean, on the eastbound side where I was, trees were covering, like I said, one lane. They were covering like the slow lane. I guess they had them spaced properly enough, you know, as far as the distance away from the road, so when they fell, they only covered up half the roadway, and people were, you know, driving in the fast lane to go around. But some of those spots had, like I said, a tree on both sides, and people had to like serpentine through the trees to keep going forward, and that's dangerous. You know, everything's dangerous. You know, there's a whole bunch of broken tree debris, water, mud. It was a lot. You know, just like I said, the terrain, all the water with all this earth that's sloped, you know, and then with it being wet, so wet from all that water and rain, you know, it just all came loose went down. Who knows how much property damage has been done up here for the people that live in this area, like their houses. I mean, I was getting emergency alerts on my phone, like I'm already getting them, and then some of them were saying there was going to be like a dam breach. Like, I didn't even know that there was like you know, any dams up here, but I guess so. I mean, so that's, and talking about flooding, emergency flood warnings all the way up until 9 p.m. and all this. So it's going to be a bad thing. I mean, it already is, but it's going to be worse apparently. So might be sitting here for a while, but that's why it's always a good thing to have your truck set up for either natural emergencies or long-term breakdowns. You know, if you're sitting somewhere for longer than, you know, a few hours or longer than a day, you know, you have supplies in the truck to survive, you know, as far as food, water, you know, and all the other mandatory things that you might need just to keep you going until you can move again. I'll go into that later on in the video. I mean, right now my head's not really in it because I'm so annoyed. I'm only 2 hours away from home, guys, and it's a Friday. 2 hours away from home on a Friday, and I'm stuck on the highway up in the mountains. And to boot, along with that, there is no cell phone reception up here. There's no internet service, so I can't contact anybody to let anyone know that I'm here. As far as Mrs. Erudite, I can't let her know where I'm at. She's expecting me to come home today, and she's not gonna hear from me like she normally would. I'm gonna have to find a way around that. Actually, I know a way that I can do it, and to let you guys know, to help you out if you're ever in a similar situation, you know, where you're not able to utilize your cell phone or, you know, the internet or anything like that. For the company that I'm with, at least for TMC, we receive messages and we can send messages like our dispatch, and we can send messages to our fleet managers and, you know, all kinds of other departments through our Trimble unit here. So what I'm planning on doing, I'm going to send a message to my fleet manager, ask him to contact my wife for me. I'm going to put my wife's phone number in there and, you know, a message that I want to give her to let her know what's up, what I'm doing out here, what's happening. That way she's not freaking out and worried when she doesn't hear me. And, you know, in the worst case scenario, if I don't get out of here today and it ends up being tomorrow, or, oh man, world forbid, it ends up being, you know, more than a day, you know, and I'm sitting here, like, she's not sitting there thinking I'm like crashed off in a ditch, you know, not surviving somewhere. It could be a whole lot of things. I know, like, you know, it can be stressful when you're the family member of a truck driver, when you don't hear from somebody and they're hundreds of miles away, or when you anticipate them being somewhere and they don't show up at that time and you haven't heard from them. I know how people's minds can wander. I know how my mind would wander if it were the reverse and my wife were gone and I didn't hear from her when I was planning to, and she wasn't answering her phone, which I'm sure my wife's going to be calling me. So I'll take care of that. And TMC, this Trimble, assuming that the Trimble has reception, it can send a message to my fleet manager, then that part can be taken care of. Yeah, I'm gonna chill out here for a little bit, guys. You might not hear back from me for a bit, because I'm gonna be doing some research, see if I can figure out a way around this in the odd event that I have to turn back around on I-40 West and go around. I'm gonna have to look at alternate routes to get me to where I need to be in North Carolina, because Western North Carolina is messed up right now, badly. I mean, I didn't get any video of what stuff looked like, but I mean, super high water. I mean, portions of some of these low valley towns completely flooded. They had exits completely blocked off, and the water was all the way up to the top of the road signs. Now, to give you an example, there's a road sign right there. If you can kind of see it against that background, the bottom part of it that's like metallic silver colored. You know, I saw on some of these off ramps here, before I got up to this point, like I said, some of the lower valleys coming through I-40 East, the water was all the way up to just below the bottom of the sign. I mean, the water was flooded. You could not see any part of the road. The water was super high. So like I said, I can only imagine what kind of property damage has been done for anybody who may be living in those towns or around this area. I had another driver come over here that he had walked. He walked, I guess, somewhere around there and to some neighborhood or town or something like that. And the residents were telling him that a bridge had been completely washed out, or at least not the structure of the bridge, but the earth underneath the bridge. So what gave it its helped with the structural integrity, the thick mud like washed away. So I guess, like I said, the dam broke or something else that was holding back a whole lot of water, because it would have to be a lot of flowing water to be able to wash that much mud away. He showed me pictures on his phone. It was crazy. It was crazy, but that's something you got to be prepared for as well. whether you're a resident or you're a driver, you know, natural disasters. If you live in an area like Florida, North Carolina, Georgia, you know, areas that are known to have, you know, hurricanes, or, you know, maybe even earthquakes, or if you live up in the Northeast dealing with the snow, or maybe if you live out west, you know, Utah, Wyoming, Iowa, you know, snow areas where snow gets really bad and you're more likely to have blizzards or hurricanes or really, really bad weather that can mess your region up for, you know, more than a day and stop traffic and basically have you stuck in a static position for a long time. You have to be ready for that. As far as having the right supplies in your truck, you know, having the right supplies at your house. You know, like me, I live in North Carolina. I have a hurricane kit at my home, you know, just for myself to use, for Mrs. Erudite to use, so, you know, at least have electricity. But that's a whole lot. I can go into that stuff and then maybe another video, my setup for that, my truck setup for emergencies, maybe my home setup for emergencies. You guys gotta let me know in the comments below if you guys are interested in that, because I mean, I could go far into all that and let you know how it's worked for me. You know, my truck setup is working for me right now, and I'm not concerned as far as not having enough resources to be able to make it, you know, for at least 3 days being out here. Hopefully it doesn't take that long. But yeah, guys, like I said, let me know. I'll check in with you guys a little bit later. Might even be later on this evening. We'll see how I feel. All right, everyone, an update. I'm still sitting here, and it's a little after 5:30 in the morning, Saturday, and there has not been any improvements regarding the internet availability or cell phone reception. I've got nothing still. I've got all the bars on my phone, but I'm not connected to a network is what I'm reading. And before I went to bed last night, you know, all the drivers and the four-wheelers that were out here, nobody really had access on their phones, except I may have seen one person making a phone call. You know, I don't know what provider they're with, but yeah, but the vast majority of people dead in the water out here. I haven't seen any movement on the highways at all, other than the police tracking back and forth periodically. So the highways are still shut down. I'm sure they haven't cleared enough road debris for people to start moving. I'm hoping the situation will change, or, you know, maybe they're waiting for daylight to, you know, let some people know. Hopefully, but, you know, with the way things were looking on the way in here before the roads got shut down, it was really, really nasty out here. I don't know, guys. I'm not in a horrible position. I mean, I got the supplies to be able to make it out here for a bit. That's not to mean, or not to say that I want to. I'm only 2 hours away from home. I think I'm just gonna update you guys once I got some daylight and some traction. I'm gonna go back to bed, because there's not really anything else to do. You know, very limited. Once you are in a position where you do not have access to the modern amenities, as far as, you know, like internet, your phone, all of the technological advancements, you know, that you need to have reception for, you're like, man, there's nothing you can do as far as like how much of your life is built around it. You know, fortunately, I'm of an age where, you know, I know what life was like before the internet took over, so I'm not, you know, freaking out or anything, and you know, I'll find something to do. But I'm just trying to just bide my time and be conservative with the resources that I have in the truck with me. You know, food, water, of which I have enough to, like I said, last me a few days, a little more than a few, depending on how I would ration it out. Hopefully I don't need to actually test that, but I know how to make it. I'm just hoping that I don't have to stick around and actually do that. But I'll touch up with you guys in the morning, or a little bit later in the morning. See ya. All right, guys, it's a little bit later on in the morning. I want to give you guys an update. It's about 9:30 in the morning. The roads are still closed. You can see up there, State Trooper got the eastbound highway entrance ramp still closed. No action that way, but I-40 West going that way, it's still open. So I checked with them. I talked to the State Trooper up there, so I was getting a game plan together, and they let me know which ways were open for me to get out of here. I'm gonna need to go I-40 and get onto I-26, and that'll get me going eastward and help me to bypass all of this. And depending on if I want to go north or south or whatever, you know, I need to get to 80, 85, but I want to stay going east, so I'm gonna get on I-26 and then get on I-85, and I'm gonna roll that way. Now, when you're dealing with a situation like this, guys, this is where knowing the fundamentals of trucking really comes into play, because having a CB is great, and you guys might be able to hear nobody's talking right now. And actually, let me keep that silence just to keep it PG, because grown folks talk on there, as they say. There's some grown folks talk on there with some words that might not be social media friendly, but the fundamentals of trucking, meaning knowing how to read a road atlas, knowing highways, knowing state routes, knowing how to recognize that stuff on an actual map, is why I keep one of these. You know, when I got hired on by this company, I mean, it was part of the requirements to purchase one of these for yourself, and I've always kept it in my truck ever since I started, and very rarely have I actually needed to pull it out and use it to get around. But situation like this, where the cell service, internet connections do not work, you're not going to be able to use your GPS. I mean, I have a trucker GPS here that is working right now, but that does not know that the highways are shut down because of the landslide. So that wants me to keep on driving straight ahead on I-40 East. I cannot do that. So I cannot depend on this. I have to depend on this and this. Fortunately, I know how to read this map, so I'll show you guys what I'm gonna do. Something in my head here. Give me just a minute. Okay guys, hopefully this is gonna show up clearly enough. I don't know if my camera has the right resolution settings to really show you the exact words that are on here, since I'm trying to zoom in so closely. But just follow my finger and trust that the words that I'm saying to you guys that I'm reading off of this map are correct. But this is Asheville right here, and I'm right around this area on I-40 East, right around here. Now, this whole area is messed up by the mudslide. I don't know how far ahead it is, but the state trooper was saying that I-40 West is open up to a point. I-40 West is, like I said, over there, but going that way. I-40 West. So I can get on I-40 West, and if you can see, there's a 40 right there, and I think it's going to be too blurry for you guys to see, unfortunately, but I can get up back on I-40 West, like I'm right here. I can go back here and I can get on I-26. I'm going to get on I-26, go down this way, and then I'm going to get on actually, I'm going to go a little bit further on I-26. I'm going to go down further on I-26 until I get to I-40 East, or I'm sorry, I-20, I'm screwing up. Disregard all that stuff that I just said just a second, but get on I-26. I'm trying to look through the camera lens and talk to you guys versus looking at the map itself where I can actually see. But I-26, and I'm going to follow I-26 down until I get to I-85 East, and that's going to let me go eastward here, and I'm going to go around Charlotte, and that's going to help me get past all this mud and all that mess, and I can get where I need to be. That's how we do it, guys. It's going to be as easy as that, because from what I was informed, that should get me past all this nasty mudslide and road closure stuff. And I'm gonna try to help some guys out as far as, you know, give that information to the other truck drivers that don't know, because there's a whole bunch of people speculating. And let me see, you can see that clearly in my map, all those trucks that are lined up, and I can only imagine how far down the highway trucks are lined up. You got the few guys that are just chancing it and just following the leader. I don't know how many of them actually know which way they're supposed to go, because on that CB radio, there's guys doing a lot of hearsay saying, yeah, I heard XYZ is open up to XYZ exit, and you know, you got to get off here. They don't know for sure. I asked the source, the highway patrolman up there, and he has the inside information, you know, because they're dealing with all the road closures. So I know which way to go to get to where I need to be. Now I'm gonna go ahead, like I said, do my part, help these guys out, at least the ones that are going the same direction as me, and hopefully get myself home here. I don't know, I have not calculated how long it's going to take for me to get home going this roundabout way, but when you're dealing with something like this, you need to make sure on your end, you know, calculate the out of route. So I'm going to set one of my odometers here. I have 4 of them. I set one to 0 last night because I anticipated having to go out of route to get home. So however many miles I calculate driving home this roundabout way. I'll just let my fleet manager know about that, and he'll be able to remove those out of route miles, because there's literally no other way for me to get home other than the way that I just described to you. So I have to basically backtrack a little bit, then drive out of route south to get, you know, onto, you know, a highway, a main highway that's cleared off to get me going east. Because the last thing that you want to do when you're dealing with something like this, a natural disaster, the last thing you want to do is go out of route and go on some of these small town roads or country roads, because you have no idea what those roads look like, you know. And the small roads, the country roads, the back roads are the last thing to get cleaned off. You know, basically, you know, emergency services, they triage this and they want to deal with the main roads, the main highways that have the most traffic. They want to stop the bleeding, you know, as best they can, and, you know, get the most people moving the fastest. You want to stick to the main highways as much as you can until you are out of the danger zone, out of the zone where you'll get trapped for hours. And traffic is starting to flow now. As far as somebody must have spread the word somewhere else, or like I said, people playing follow the leader. They see the line moving and they just follow it. So I want to go ahead and get going so I don't get caught up in a traffic jam of sorts. And I'll probably elaborate on things a little bit more once I get to a steady place where I can stop, because like I said, I want to get moving before I get caught up in the crunch of all the drivers trying to leave right now, because we've all been sitting here for, shoot, almost 24 hours. When I got stopped here yesterday, it was 11:30 roughly when they closed the highways down and I got stuck right here. So it's 9:40 right now. So yeah, almost been here for 24 hours. So I'm gonna get out of here, guys. I'm very much so wanting to get home, especially considering it's a Saturday. So talk to you in a bit. All right, guys, I'm back at home now. I'm in my own vehicle. I ended up getting to the truck stop roughly around 2 or 3 p.m. I had to drive 120 or so miles out of route to go around in that detour way that I was telling you guys about. It took me about 4.5 hours, just because aside from having to backtrack the way that I went and go around, I had to go through the city of Asheville, which everything there was, you know, completely messed up because of the storm. You know, knocked over power lines. You know, there was no electricity, so none of the street lights were working. So everybody had to kind of take turns going through intersections, had to slow down a lot, because some people were just flying through if they're on the straightaway, and, you know, some people were doing the right thing, and, you know, at the four-way intersections people were stopping and kind of taking turns, but not as much order as you would have wanted. But also, you know, with so many vehicles having to take that same route to go around and go to the other highway that they were trying to get to go east, you know, it slowed things down quite a bit. There were lots of debris, lots of impediments to slow everything down. You know, knocked over power lines. There were trees knocked down in the city. A lot of property damage. A whole lot of mud and debris. You know, houses were messed up. It was a complete mess. You know, so I really went through the belly of the beast as far as, you know, the path of destruction for the storm. You know, things were messed up. It's going to be messed up there for quite a while. Definitely glad to be back. You know, for the delivery that I had was actually supposed to have been delivered on Friday. Needless to say, you know, that didn't happen. My fleet manager had let me know that the place I was delivering to, or planning to deliver to, was going to be closed on Friday anyway because of the storm, and that was before everything got messed up. He had let me know that on Thursday night, maybe Friday morning, I can't recall exactly. Now the freight is supposed to be delivering on Monday, but I can't deliver it until after 4 p.m. I'm assuming it's, again, because of the storm. They're going to deal with whatever they're dealing with first. So financially, definitely not the good thing for me, because for one, I wasn't able to deliver Friday, so I wasn't able to pick up a load to take home. Now I'm not going to be able to deliver until the end of the day Friday, which means I'm not going to be able to pick anything new up. So that's 2 days without freight. As for where I live specifically, my home area is fine, except for, you know, just a little bit of stuff knocked off of the trees, which I'm thankful for. You know, there's not really any property damage where I live at all, other than, like I said, just some stuff knocked off the trees. Nothing other than that, which is great. I'm just trying to gather my thoughts for this, guys, because there was a lot going on. Like I said, it was a bad situation, very bad for all the people that live in that area. It's going to be bad for a long time, because I looked at the news reports and saw a lot of stuff, you know, parts of I-40 highway completely destroyed. So I'm thinking on the back end of this, you know, since I live in North Carolina already, I don't know what they're going to be doing as far as like new freight to pick up. I don't want to have any freight that's going to require me to go westward. You know, that would normally require me to drive through I-40, because I'm not going to be able to go that way. You know, the whole detour situation, I'm thinking about that on the back end, what am I going to have to deal with, because that highway is going to be down for, I would imagine, a very long time, with the way that those highways were damaged, not just the debris that was on them. For anybody who might find themselves in a situation like that, you know, I think it would be best to set yourself up for success now, the way that I did, so that you're prepared in case you are in a situation similar to what I was, if you're caught up in some kind of natural disaster, or if you have just a breakdown. So I would advise you, as somebody who's been through that, and also, you know, been through breakdowns where I've been stuck on the road, but always make sure that you have, you know, at least 3 days worth of food and water in your truck. Now, I have a winter trucker survival guide video that will kind of help you with some of this, you know, as far as being prepared, having what you need to have. I will put a link to that video here or here, and I definitely recommend you guys check that video out. It'll help you out, you know, even though it's not tailored specifically for, you know, hurricanes, it's tailored for inclement weather. And that the stuff that I tell you guys in that video will definitely help you as far as what you need to have, you know, the water, the food, have the proper clothing, you know, so that you are ready to endure the environment if you get stuck somewhere for a extended period of time. I'm starting to lose the daylight, guys, so I wanted to make sure I finish this video up for you guys, just so that it helps anybody that could find this information useful. The last piece of advice I can give out here is, you know, if you find yourself in a situation like that, you know, if you're stranded, or you're possibly going to be stranded, you're going to be a part of a highway lockdown, you know, it's always good to make sure that you have enough fuel in your truck. You know, say if something like this were to happen in the wintertime, you get snowed in, make sure you have enough fuel to keep your truck running. You know, if you need it for the heat, or if you need it to heat your food, make sure that you have good clothing that's going to be useful to you for whatever season you're in currently. And also, you know, make the wise decision. You know, if the roads are getting bad, or, you know, like if you get stuck in a situation where the highway gets shut down and things are looking sketchy, like I said, trees are all over the road and all that, you know, if you think it's the best thing to do for you to stop, just stop. If it's going to be safer for you, or if you think it's good to just turn back, you know, like I did, you know, I could have either sat there and waited it out, you know, on I-40, and I'd have been probably still been sitting there right now. Actually, I know for sure I would have still been sitting there. Or, you know, turn back and make sure you have the right directions, and make sure that you know how to read a road map properly. If you're a truck driver, you should know how to read a road atlas. Don't depend on the electronics. The GPSs, they're good, they're an aid, but don't let that be the only thing that you know how to use to help you get to wherever you need to be, because you may be put in a situation where you can't rely on that, like I was here. You know, just know the fundamentals, be able to get yourself around, know how to read the roads. Just stay calm. Stay calm and you'll be all right. You know, it worked out for me today because, you know, I was prepared, and I did what I needed to do to cover myself and get myself where I needed to be, guys. So I think I'll cut it off there. I'm gonna chill out. It's Saturday, so I'm not going anywhere till Monday. You know, like I said, my load can't deliver until 4 p.m. so I'll be leaving sometime on Monday morning, afternoon, whatever, to go back to the truck and get the stuff delivered, and I'll be moving on from there. We'll see how things work out for me as far as where I need to travel, you know, for the rest of the week, what kind of loads I'll be dispatched on. But I appreciate you guys watching this, and my condolences to anybody who may have lost anything or anyone because of the natural disaster, Hurricane Helene, I believe. So I appreciate you all watching. Here at Trucker out.